We continue our journey with some of the most spoken of missionaries in the Bible. And this week we're looking at Philip as missionary.
After studying Jesus and Peter, some great examples of missionary work, what more can we learn from someone like Philip? Probably a different angle?
And if there is something that I took from the previous lesson when we talked about Peter, this week, in particular with Philip, we see that again, the Holy Spirit is present, and it is His power that actually makes all things happen for the spreading of the gospel. It's not the missionaries doing all the job by themselves on their own, but it's the Holy Spirit.
True. And if we look at Philip personally, there are some great insights there as well. We see an interesting example of humility and power together.
But who was Philip? And what was so interesting about him?
Oh, many interesting things. Maybe he loved horses. Well, at least his name means horse lover. But before we can tell anything more about him, we have to try to identify him a bit better. So, in the New Testament, there are 4 Philips that we can see, and 2 of them I think we can rule out because they were part of the Herodian ruling families, and it doesn't sound much like it. So
we know little about him, but he is not also the disciple Philip. The Christian group in first century functioned very effectively because of its organized structure. People sold their houses, their lands, their possessions to have everything equally distributed to everybody for the benefit of the spreading of the gospel. And namely here is where arises the need for 7 men to be chosen who will replace the 12 apostles and will distribute the possessions equally and fairly and will serve the tables. Philip is one of them.
This is a very important setting to understand. First, we have a serious issue. Fairness is in question, social justice. And then we have 7 people that are appointed to serve. They have to help to bring the tension down and restore trust and justice. They have to be trustworthy people with integrity and humility. It doesn't sound like a very prestigious job to wait tables, but it's very important. It speaks a lot about Philip's character. And it's an important aspect of mission as well. Living the gospel, serving the community from inside, is not just about preaching. Okay, but he's also called Philip the evangelist. There must be a reason for that.
There has to be a persecution for the church to grow. Have you heard this expression in the church? It's sad, but it's a fact. Philip is a refugee now, running away for his safety from Jerusalem. Not serving tables anymore because there is no need for that. He finds his purpose in spreading the word of Jesus. And he does that also very effectively and healing lame people, paralyzed people, demon-possessed people in the city that he lives in, Samaria. And the city is happy about it. Who won't be?
Well, this is what the gospel is. Taking down barriers, bringing freedom, joy. Sadly, we people can perverse everything, but this is what the gospel is all about.
As I mentioned earlier about the Holy Spirit, when we talked at the beginning of the lesson, here comes one of the strongest and most powerful instances where we see the intervention of the Holy Spirit. Philip is instructed by an angel to go south of Jerusalem on the way to Gaza and to meet the Ethiopian eunuch. But as soon as Philip baptizes him, the Spirit of the Lord commissions him to go to another mission. Questions flow in my mind just thinking about it. Does the Spirit instruct in the same direct way missionaries today? Do we have such obedient missionaries in our midst? And am I one?
Am I? We have so much prejudices. Just think about the places where Philip was asked to go and the things that he was asked to do. Then be honest. Can we really be such people? Can we be so open for the Spirit to overcome all these personal prejudices and barriers that we have? Then think and imagine the conversation between Philip and the Ethiopian. How exciting it must have been so the Ethiopian can say, "By what I have heard, I believe that Jesus is the Son of God." I mean, what else could it be? Please baptize me. Through all the stories around Philip, this is what I sense. the excitement of people when they hear his testimony about Jesus. So powerful.
And when you think Philip started as a table waiter, then he became a local evangelist in his city in Samaria. Then he was sent to meet the Ethiopian treasury. In fact, his missions never ended. They grew out in the whole region from Gaza to Caesarea. His family also carried the burden of his call, and the 4 daughters that he had became also strongly connected with the same spirit that he worked with. They carried on his legacy.
This last part of the lesson is very important, about our families. We are called for a mission by God, but we shouldn't forget that this journey is for the entire family. Yes, we have different roles and responsibilities, but we are a team. I got inspired by Philip's story and mission.
We hope that you got inspired by Philip too. See you next week.